Hey, how's everybody doing? This is Elusive Collectibles, and this is a brand new show within my YouTube channel. I'm calling it Cards and Coffee, Collector Spotlight. And so, pretty much what I want to do with this show is just give the chance for everybody to meet collectors in the hobby. So, my first episode is here with Marvelous Pax, also known as Victor. He's a great guy in the community. He always supports everyone, and I thought it was very fitting to have him as my first guest. So, Victor, if you want to introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Elusive. I'm honored everyone to be here. Honored to be the first one on the show. This is exciting. I've been collecting cards since childhood, since I was 10. Um, you name it, movie cards, Marvel cards, and some sports stuff. And I also loved comics. So for me, I've always enjoyed going to comic shops and just looking for hidden treasures for like cool prices and seeing if I could grade it in the future, because I've always loved the idea of preserving my artwork and knowing that it could go up in value. So I have a lot of fun. I've loved Marvel and I love the films, everything. I could talk Marvel all day.
No worries. My first question is, how did you start collecting? And it doesn't have to be necessarily Marvel collecting, but when's the first thing? What is one of the first things you remember collecting in general?
The first things were probably the World Cup soccer cards. So it was like back in 1994, they had these binders of the Team USA, and we sucked. So I was like really sad when I got that as a birthday gift. But it was a really cool binder, and it had like, I was thinking, like it's not a complete loss. And some of those players ended up having okay careers, but obviously it wasn't the Brazil team. It wasn't like the good stuff. It was just like an already placed team binder of team cards. And I was like, what? I don't even get to open this. And I love ripping packs. So I thought to myself, I'm gonna use this binder. I'm gonna make it look like a dope Marvel card binder. Because then in 1994, they had the Fleer Ultra XMen that was out and Flair. So I was like, oh man. And then they also had, it was all over the place. They had Marvel Masterpieces by the Hildebrandt brothers. So they would randomly have the gold packs at the register, and they would have the Fleer Ultra X over packs, and they would have, you could even get those at Walmart. It was crazy. And you also had the Flair, which were in those awesome little brick packs.
Yeah, they look like individual playing cards, like a deck of cards, right?
Yeah, man, it was awesome, and it was a good time because you'd grab your comics and then you get to the register and you couldn't help yourself. It was like $2 a pack. So you would go ahead and grab like, one of each, and you'd like grab them from the bottom. You'd be all superstitious, you'd be like trying to figure out which one would have the chase, which one would have, the gold sig that of a good character you'd hope for, or the power blast, etc.
Nice. So would you say you started collecting Marvel seriously?
Probably after I almost died. I was like 12 years old. I I never told you about this, but I had a ruptured appendix, and my mom knew I was going through bullying, so she thought I was just trying to get out of school and not go to class. And I kept saying, "No, my stomach really hurts. It really hurts." And it turns out like she finally caved and was like, "I got to take him to the doctor." And when I went to the doctor, he listened to me and heard no bowel movements. They rushed me down to the emergency room, and it felt like in moments I was on an operating table and they were starting to, open me up to get my appendix out. It burst right when I was on the table. I had to have surgery twice. I didn't think I was going to make it because I was in the hospital already 3 weeks. It was crazy, man. And I think after that, I started realizing like life was just too short to not like just enjoy the moment. Money comes and money goes. So I would do extra little jobs on the side so I could buy more comics and cards. And, my friends are like, oh, that stuff is like 90s stuff and 80s stuff. It's never going to be worth anything.
Oh,
And yeah, it
nice.
is worth a little something now.
So right around 12 is when you started seriously collecting Marvel cards, in other words, right?
That's when it became an escape too, because,
Yeah.
when you live with like two busy parents and they're divorced, so sometimes you don't have like necessarily the traditional like home life. But what is that anyway? Who has a normal traditional life? But back then it's like on the weekend sometimes that was what I had. I had my cards and I really just enjoyed looking at them, and it was escape from sometimes the problems that you knew was going on at home. You could kind of go into that other reality of make believe and playing as your favorite
Yeah.
superheroes and all that stuff. Plus, we had the animated show on Saturdays.
Dude,
So,
weren't those awesome? Like the Spider-Man show, and then even for non-Marvel or non-DC fans, the Batman animated show was crazy.
dude,
That was one of my favorite shows.
you guys are awesome too, because I now that I'm in this card community and collecting cards, I get like shared stuff all the time. And I think Watch Me Open shared to us that video of the 96 or whatever it is, the animated Spider-Man show.
Hmm.
And it's in a commercial. I mean, it's in the trailer version
Hmm.
of the new Spider-Man movie, Far From Home. So that's going to be
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah, dude, I'm super excited for that movie. Now, if anybody asked you as far as your Marvel collection now, how would you describe your collection? Are you a set collector? Are you a character collector? What type of collector are you?
As a kid, probably
No, no,
set.
now. No,
Oh,
now.
now?
Hmm.
Now definitely character, just because it's so expensive to try and complete sets. Like, I think it's unrealistic to have to buy like sometimes 4 to 6 boxes just to make a full like base set. And we're not even talking like special inserts or any
Printing
of that other
plates.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the really rare stuff that
Hmm.
could come like maybe one every other case. So for me, I got into character collecting because it's easier to find individual pieces than to try and like, although I'm marvelous packs, I love ripping packs.
Hmm.
It's still, I try to find like good value out of the packs I rip to scratch that itch. But at the same time, for me, I love, obviously I've shown you a bunch of my Kitty Pride stuff. I love,
Okay,
oh,
Prime.
I love Kitty Pride. I love
Okay, Pride is
Colossus.
what you're piecing.
Yeah, PC is going to be mostly X-Men characters, and but the two characters that I PC are truly Kitty Pride and Colossus. I just like that them when they combine their powers. I love the X-Men. I collected a lot of the comics. That was what I stayed in that lane. Like I love Spider-Man, don't get me wrong. I love all Marvel. Don't try to
Mhm.
discriminate, but my favorite is the
It's
X-Men.
X-Men. Yeah. Now, if you don't mind me asking, why within the X-Men, what made you go with Kitty Pryde? You know, like the two most obvious choices when it comes to females, at least in my opinion, would be Storm or Rogue, right? So, what made you veer off
But
that
but
path and go?
But I disagree. For me, it would be Phoenix, and I would throw in Jubilee. No, I'm kidding. I would
No,
agree with you
Jubilee's up there. Yeah.
on the other one with Phoenix, and then I would throw in probably Storm or Rogue.
Hmm.
But to answer your question, Kitty Pryde has incredible powers. She can go through objects, but not just that, her intelligence and the fact that she can use other mutant abilities from other mutants to tap into their strength makes her one of like the premier mutants on the team. And she's also gone offshoot, not directly with the X-Men team. She's been with Excalibur, she's been with the New Mutants, she's been on different like comic series. So you can find her in a lot of different story arcs. And I just love the fact that she's one of those, really like sexy in a different way, but with her intelligence and her powers, it's like, wow, I love the way she combines with Colossus, with when she combines with Bishop, when she combines with different X-Men. That's what makes them like unstoppable as a team. When you watch the Avengers, it's awesome when you see those scenes when they're feeding off each other's powers, and that's why I
Hmm.
think I love the X-Men so much. Is it's all about a team and a community,
Got it.
and being there for each other.
That makes sense. And
And the
then
X-Men,
what?
sorry, one more thing. The
No, you're good.
X-Men also inspired me because they were like mutants. They were different than us, and it was like a lot of discrimination and a lot of things. And me being Latino and looking white, I didn't really fit in with either like crowd necessarily 100%. Like I could get like welcomed in once they got to know me, but based on the way I looked, I was always kind of judged a little different at first. So I think like I wasn't necessarily accepted into the Latino community, but then because of my name, a lot of the white people are like, wait, what? So it was like one of those things where with the mutants, you felt
It
like, damn, it
resonated.
didn't matter. It didn't matter. You know, you were accepted because of your different abilities and gifts and what you bring to the table. So I always loved X-Men because of that. They really touched on topics that were societal and had meaning to the world.
Relatable. That makes sense, man. That's a good answer. If and then what would so is it safe to say, if not, obviously you want to answer this, but so is it safe to say that your favorite set is 1994 Fleer X-Men?
Just of nostalgia in terms of like
Ah, got it. Okay.
if we talk like other things like the art or
Yeah, the artwork.
or say like value or different things, I think that's like different, like aside. But in terms of my personal favorite, it's a box that I had to buy again now as an adult just to enjoy opening it again. And I probably spent a little more than I should have, probably like 160 or 150. It was probably during the boom, so all prices were up, but I didn't get a lot of time off during the pandemic, so I kind of missed out on that wave where everyone was cashing in on some of those graded PSA stuff they had.
Oh, for sure. Okay. So now then, that makes sense. So as far as nostalgia and personal to you, what resonates is that set. But if you had to judge it just based on artwork only, what is your favorite set based on artwork?
I loved what Watch Me Open did. Support his channel. He opened a box of these. So sorry guys, I'm like all over the place with the camera. Oh, this way. All right, there we go. So that's Julie. Is this one Julie? Let's see. Anyway, the art here is spectacular on this set, the 1996 Marvel Masterpieces. And I think that has incredible art of like the full physique and body captures the mutants in an incredible light. And yeah, I wish I would have been able to afford it as a kid.
Yeah. Or even now, right? Even now, those sets are upwards of $3,000, and if you want to open a box, you're looking at $5,000-$6,000 just to get a hold of a box.
What's
Nice.
great
So
is though, if you're in the community, you can still find some of these singles like around,
decent pricing, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, so that's your favorite set. What would be your least favorite set?
The 1990 Marvel Universe.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
I just don't like it. For me, it's like not original art. I have all the comics that do that art better justice. I know you have big boys on there drawing, like the big comic guys and Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane on some of the earlier Spider-Man stuff. But to me, it's just not like, I don't know, it's kind of boring. The stock is really cheap. It was mass produced. The centering is awful. So props to people that get good grades on it. Those are cool pieces. Those are actually
They're a
a
tough
Gil Pop
grade.
report. That's the hard numbered of the card.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't like it. To me, it's boring. It's like, if you want that, why not buy a comic? Buy a Jim Lee comic and enjoy it. Get a reader copy. Read
That
it.
makes sense. And then who's your favorite artist
My favorite artist?
when it comes to trading cards? So not, nothing regarding sketch cards or comics, just based on the Marvel cards. Who's your favorite artist?
Well, there's so many. I mean, there's Steranko, there's Julie Bell, there's you have the Marvel Masterpiece, the Hildebrandt Bros. Um, you have now the current sets and the throwback Joe Jusko, the original, Simone Bianchi. I think Simone Bianchi is really good. I enjoy Palumbo. I bought a print of Palumbo. It's finally coming. Good news. Thank you, Upper Deck. Shout out to Upper Deck for making it right and finding a way to get me my print. But yeah, I'm really excited to get a signed print and hang it up on my wall, because I think he did great art on most of all the characters I like. in the
That's awesome.
2020 Marvel masterpieces. But I
And those
know
are
it's a
numbered, right?
controversial thing. It's all subjective in the end because art.
Hmm.
Who's really got a right answer? It's art. You know, it's like
Hmm.
they're all wonderful sets. So I don't want to like undercut anyone. Like to me, actually, I'll say that's number two because right now I'm in love with Marvel Unbound. Marvel
Um,
Unbound is beautiful. And it's not even, I can't judge it yet because the full set hasn't been released. It's still a 2021 product. And I know it's new, but Fred Ian is a class act. So is Dave Palumbo. They're artists you can talk to and like they will actually respond to you. And if you tag them, they'll like show you love on your Instagram. I mean, who doesn't like that artists that are reachable and talk, you can, you know, I mean, talk to them like normal people.
yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's true. And that poster that you mentioned that you bought, that one's numbered as well, right?
Which one
The
again? I'm
Palumbo,
sorry.
the Palumbo one that you got that's
Oh
coming.
yeah,
That
the
one's a
print.
number one.
It's
Yeah,
out of 100, man. So it's
nice.
hard
Yeah,
numbered. There's only 100 of them, and it's signed by the artist. And they have all the holofoil. It's like the inserts are all
yeah,
on display. It's not the base, just a base set of a
yeah.
print.
That's a neat piece, man. Especially, people might not understand this now because people are just catching on to Marvel. But if more and more people join the hobby, those are going to be impossible to get because once collectors have them, like yourself, they don't want to let them go. They're not looking to flip. They're just looking to enjoy their art. To
Oh
your point.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
wine is going to be had in front of that. I'm going to be sitting back and just like, oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Now here's a tough question for you. What do you enjoy more about the hobby? The people or the chase of the cards?
But that could be combined because sometimes you're chasing for your friends. You know what I mean?
Mm,
You know that they have something they might let go because you
mm,
found something they really need. So there's that part
mm,
that's really kind of it's exciting.
yeah.
Um, but I think yeah, I've gotten into grading. So for me, it's like I'm kind of trying to chase a 10 pristine, and when BGS opens at regular rates, I'm looking to get black label. That's kind of what I'm going to be chasing out of my like whatever I rip or have already had in my collection that I wanted to save for BGS slash SGC. So for me, that's
Nice.
kind of like what I'm doing as a side. Like I really want to have a good graded collection, and also all my PC of my character graded, and also a lot of my like big cards that I've pulled graded, so I can go after other stuff and invest in more of maybe getting an artist proof or getting something like done personally for me of an idea I have, which I won't share, but of an idea I have of what would be an amazing sketch. So for me, that's something I want to like level up to, and I think like grading is the key because nobody can really trust when people say, "Oh, is it PSA 10 question mark? Is it
Mm.
SGC, whatever, like it if it's graded, there's no doubt." And I think for me it's like regardless of what company you go with, it's always easier to buy a card that already is authenticated.
Of course, yeah, makes sense. Now, what are three tips you would want to give to someone that's new to Marvel collecting?
Uh YouTube. Look up um like if you want to see what certain sets look like, watch box breakings like Random Collector, Spidey Jew
23.
oh 09. Yeah, Random Collector 23, Spidey Jew 09. There's a lot of people that do breaks of the new stuff as well. And you can get a look at that if you're interested in the new, or if you're interested because it's a nostalgia thing and you want to go back to that, take a look at some of the YouTube videos of some of the people that post content that really can help you guys with advice of like where to go, because sometimes it's a minefield there. You might go after one set and realize I didn't really like that and I like this better to look at all of it first and then be able to decide, oh man, like I've seen basically every set now opened
Mm-hmm.
and there's videos of it. The beauty is now there's enough Marvel content out there where you can
Correct.
see what is what is around. So I think that's my like top tip. And then another one is like, boy, did you ask for three?
Yeah, 3.
I would say make sure that you're looking at if you're trying to sell anything to grab more stuff or whatever you're trying to do in the hobby, make sure you're looking at the sold listings, making sure you're looking at different things, because now that more people are collecting Marvel cards, there's a way to compare how other things have sold. Now, I wouldn't sell anything if you're new at auction, because you're depending on a very specific amount of people to look at that in one time period, in 1 week, 10 days tops, and that's risky. And with us still growing, I think it's better to try to do your research on what's sold for what prices. Try to find something fair based on the rarity of the insert, or if it's a base card. Try to think about those kind of things and put up a price maybe a little higher, and then put best offer. And if you're looking to go fast, a little lower. And that's my advice for people new to selling. And people new to grading, just make sure you don't expect to pull tens from every pack you open. That is, I think, something you got to be very careful about. Like, do your research on what sets brick. Bricking is when they leave a residue on the card.
Mm-hmm.
Do your research about like the packs you're getting, what condition they were kept in. Make sure you get enough photos, because you don't want to buy boxes that have dents in them and had a lot of weight. So I think when you're opening packs and considering it for grading, you got to make sure you're with the knowledge that most of these older things are not going to have gem mint grades. So it's really hard to get tens. So when you go into grading, be extra scrutinizing is my last tip. Scrutinize the heck out of the card. And if it's your favorite character, then you have to be even more ruthless on it, because you do not want to send your favorite character and get it back a bad grade. Because believe me, PC is more important than like having tens that you intended to sell anyway.
Correct. Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah, thank you for that. And my next question for you is, if you could start all over, what would you do different for your collection?
I would have done more research before buying boxes, that's for sure. And I definitely would have graded a lot sooner, because obviously now we're really limited with the options we have. Being Marvel cards, you can't go with CGC yet. And there's really small companies in the game, and then the only big one left is SGC. So it really puts you on having to really either make a decision to hold your cards for years, and they could get damaged over time just from acts of nature or just how they were kept, or you have to start making decisions in your head. We're coming to a point where it's almost 2 years that some of these companies have been shut down for regular business. So I think I wish I would have just jumped into that grading earlier of cards. I did it way too late as a young man. So hey, you live and you learn. But I'm excited to go back to BGS and stick with SGC, because I think Marvel cards just look fantastic.
Nice. And here's a fun one. I think you're going to enjoy this one. Let's say I have a little magic lamp, and I could grant you a couple wishes. What are 5 cards that if I snap my fingers, they would go to your PC today?
Well, I almost have the rainbow complete of my Kitty Pryde. I need the green PMG. So I would want the green. I'm not going to be greedy and say the 1 of 1, but I would want the green of that. I would
be greedy. Remember, this is a magic lamp.
5 cards.
You got 5. You got 5 wishes from me. No, 5. No. I'm a special genie. You got 5.
Oh, that's nice. All right. Okay.
I can't hear you. One second, guys, while Victor fixes his audio. No worries. This is the part for me, so I enjoy listening to this and see what his response is going to be to this. I have no idea Obviously, we know the first one is going to be something based on his Kitty Pryde Rainbow set that he's trying to complete. But other than that, I have no other idea.
All right. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you.
All right. So let me try and show you. I have this in an SGC 9. So obviously I'd want my green one in the 9. So I already have it in the 9. And then I would want the gold one in a BGS black
9.5. Oh, black label. Okay.
Black label.
Okay.
Yeah, you said get greedy. And then I would want a Colossus beside it, a blue Colossus and a green Colossus, also graded 10 or black label 9. Or sorry, black label 10. Sorry. You said greedy, so I'll be greedy.
Yeah, dude. You have to go all out. So that's four. Yeah, that's four.
That's four.
You got one more.
All right, and then one more. So that would be okay. That would be the buyback of 2021 Marvel Metal. No, I'm sorry. Not the buyback. What is that insert called? The one with the little, dang it, the little holes in it. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, the portraits.
Platinum portraits.
Platinum portraits.
I would want a platinum portraits, and I would want that of Wolverine.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good pick. Okay. Yeah, those are 5 solid ones, man.
Yeah, because then with that, I know a big Wolverine guys, a bunch of Wolverine guys in my little community, and with that I can hold something over them.
Yeah, man, but they're not. I don't even know if those guys that you're talking about have enough cards to get that off of you if you had that. No, but those are good options, man. Now the last one here to wrap up the show for today, and again, I appreciate you sharing all this with me and spending some time. Can you share with us your top 3 cards? And just for everybody watching, this has nothing to do with value. It's just whatever are your favorite 3 cards that you own in your collection now.
All right, here we go. Here's one that I pack pulled yesterday. This is Blade What If. And I love this film, man. I snuck into this in high school to see Wesley Snipes kung fu the hell out of everybody. And it was awesome. Good memories with my friends. And it's just like every time I see a Blade card, I get happy. So pulling a What If, and it's a comic because I love comics, it's great, you know. So that one. And this one, because my friend gave me this one, and I just love the art. I think you know who that was. And it's just spectacular. I mean, geez, it's just a beautiful card. This is from the 2019 Flair. And yeah, I just think it's gorgeous art of her. And she's a crazy, crazy mutant abilities of teleportation. Blink is really powerful mutant.
Nice.
People don't know about some of these underrated mutants, and this is the Fred Ian signed one. So,
ooh, okay.
I gotta say, Blink is a beautiful, beautiful piece. And so Fred Ian signed this one, and these are numbered out of 50. So those would be the 3 cards that I brought in today. One, because it was just like perfect pairing with this. Doesn't it work?
Yeah, it looks perfect, man. It looks awesome. Yeah, you just got to get the other one slapped up that your friend gave you. Hey.
Exactly.
Well, Victor, again, man, thank you. Thank you for joining me on my first episode of the show, Cards and Coffee, Collector Spotlight. Now, can you just shout out yourself? Where can everybody find you on your Instagram, your YouTube, anything you want to plug?
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, so my YouTube is Marvelous Packs, and Instagram is at Marvelous_Packs. And yeah, guys, if you go to my Instagram, you can see my link for the slabs I have for sale on my slab. So please, if you're interested, support it. And yeah, I take offers. So let me know.
Awesome. And again, I'll definitely have his link to his description, or on the description, I'll have linked his YouTube and his Instagram if you guys want to get in contact with Victor. Victor, again, thank you for your time, man, and have a great day.
Hey, you too, bro. Thanks again for having me. Much love, man.
Thank you, man.